Hello, and welcome back to another special session here on English in Fluency, the place where we turn your English confusion into complete confidence. I am your host, Alex, and I am so incredibly happy that you have decided to join me today. Today, we are going to tackle the number one enemy of English learners all around the world, which is the terrifying speed of native speakers. I know exactly how you feel because I have heard this story 1,000 times from students just like you. You study hard, you learn your vocabulary lists, and you understand your teacher perfectly in the classroom. But the moment you step outside or turn on a movie without subtitles, it sounds like a completely different language. You panic, your heart starts beating faster, and you feel like you have lost all your progress. But I want to tell you right now that you have not lost anything, and you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we are going to slow things down so we can speed them up later. We are going to take a deep dive into B1 level listening practice designed specifically to help you understand different speaking speeds, and, most importantly, to help you stay calm and confident when the English gets fast. We are going to go on a journey together through a story, and we are going to analyze it piece by piece, sound by sound, so that by the end of this series, fast English will not scare you anymore. Before we jump into our story today, I want to talk to you about why native speakers sound so fast. It is not because they are trying to trick you, or because they are rushing. It is because of something called connected speech. In English, we do not pronounce every single word separately like a robot. If I spoke like a robot, I would say, "What are you doing later?" That is very clear, but it is not natural. When a native speaker says that sentence, they mash the words together like clay. It becomes, "What you doing later?" The sounds link together. Some sounds disappear, and the rhythm changes. This is the secret. You are not listening for separate words. You are listening for the flow and the music of the sentence. Today, we are going to train your ears to hear that music. We are going to use a technique where we listen to a conversation between two friends. Let's call them Liam and Sophie. And we are going to hear them speak in a slow, clear way first. And then we will explore how those same sentences change when they get excited and start speaking quickly. I want you to imagine a busy coffee shop in the middle of a city. You can hear the sound of the espresso machine hissing in the background, the clinking of cups, and the low hum of people chatting. It is a rainy Tuesday afternoon, and Liam is sitting at a small round table near the window, looking at his phone. He is waiting for his friend Sophie. This is a situation that happens every single day, and the language they use is very common, B1 level English. But even simple English can sound difficult if the speed is high. So, I want you to close your eyes if you can, or just focus on my voice. Let's listen to the first part of their meeting. I am going to perform this for you first in a very clear, slow, and articulated manner. Listen carefully to the pronunciation of every single word. Here is the slow version. Sophie opens the door, shakes the rain off her umbrella, and walks over to the table. She says, "Hi, Liam. I am so sorry I am late. The bus was very slow today because of the rain." Liam looks up and smiles. He says, "Do not worry about it, Sophie. I just arrived 5 minutes ago. Did you manage to finish your project for work?" Sophie sighs and sits down. She says, "Yes, I finally finished it last night. I am so tired today. I need a very large coffee immediately." Liam laughs and says, "I understand. I will go and order for you. What do you want to drink?" Sophie smiles and says, "Thank you so much. I want a cappuccino with extra foam, please." "Okay, open your eyes." That was easy, right? You probably understood 100% of that conversation. The words were separated. I pronounced the T at the end of words. I paused between sentences. This is the English we love because it feels safe. But now, let's be honest, real life is not usually this safe. Real life is messy and fast. Now, I want to take that same exact scene, and I am going to explain to you how it sounds in the real world. And we are going to practice it together. We are going to look at the first line Sophie said. In the slow version, she said, "I am so sorry I am late." In fast English, the words I and am often crash together to become I'm. That is common. But look at the next part. I am late. When spoken quickly, the M sound in am flows directly into the L sound in late. It sounds like one long word. I'm so sorry I'm late. It almost sounds like a melody. Try to say that with me. I'm so sorry I'm late. Good. Now, let's look at Liam's response. This is a goldmine for listening practice. He said, "Do not worry about it." In slow English, we hear four distinct words. Do, not, worry, about, it. But in fast, confident English, native speakers rarely say do not unless they are angry or being very serious. We almost always use the contraction don't. But we go even further. The T at the end of don't usually disappears completely when it is followed by a consonant sound like the W in worry. So instead of don't worry, it sounds like don't worry. Listen to that difference. Don't worry. And then we have the phrase about it. In American English especially, the T in about changes. It becomes a soft flap sound, almost like a quick D, because it is between vowel sounds when we link it to the word it. So it sounds like about it. Put it all together, and the sentence transforms from do not worry about it to don't worry about it. It sounds like one giant word. Don't worry about it. Can you hear the difference? This is why you might panic when you hear it. Your brain is looking for the word about, but your ears hear about. Let's keep moving through this conversation, because the more examples we look at, the more confident you are going to feel. Liam asked Sophie a question. He asked, "Did you manage to finish your project?" This is a classic example of how questions change speed. The words did and you are almost never pronounced separately in fast speech. They combine. The D sound and the Y sound mix together to make a J sound. So, did you becomes didja. Listen closely. Didja. Didja manage to finish? It is much faster, isn't it? If you are waiting to hear the word did, you will miss it. You need to train your ear to hear didja. This is extremely common in the past tense. Did you go becomes didja go. Did you eat becomes didja eat. In our story, Liam says, "Didja manage to finish your project?" Also, notice the word to. In the slow version, I said to finish. In the fast version, the word to is reduced to a weak sound. It sounds like ti. Didja manage to finish? The vowel sound becomes very small and short. This is called the schwa sound, and it is the most common sound in English. It allows us to speak faster because we don't have to open our mouth fully for every vowel. Let's continue with Sophie's reply. She said, "I finally finished it last night." Here is a tricky part about listening to past tense verbs. The word finished ends with an ed, but when we speak, we don't say finish ed. We say finished. It ends with a T sound, and because the next word is it, which starts with a vowel, that final T sound links over. So instead of finished it, it sounds like finished it. I finally finished it. It sounds like the word tit is at the end. I finally finished tit last night. This is called linking. It is the #1 reason why learners feel lost. You are looking for the space between the words, but there is no space. The end of one word is the beginning of the next word. It is like a chain. If you can accept that English is a chain of sounds, you will stop translating word for word and start understanding the message. Now, let's look at the emotional part of the scene. Sophie says, "I am so tired today. I need a very large coffee." When people are tired or emotional, they might drag out certain words for emphasis. She might say, "I'm so tired." This actually makes listening easier because the key word, tired, is longer. But then she speeds up the next part. "I need a very large coffee." In fast speech, need a becomes need a. Again, that linking happens. And notice the word immediately from the slow version. In the fast version, she might drop that big word and just say, "I need a coffee right now." Native speakers often swap big complex words for shorter, punchier phrases when they are speaking quickly. So, listening to fast English is also about learning these shorter phrases. Right now is faster and punchier than immediately. Let's go back to Liam. He says, "I am going to go and order for you." This is the champion of fast English reductions. I am sure you have heard this before, but we must practice it. Going to becomes gonna. I'm gonna. But listen to what happens next. Go and order. The word and is almost never fully pronounced. We usually just say the N sound. Go and order. So the whole sentence, which was, "I am going to go and order for you," becomes, "I'm going to go and order for you." It flows like a river. I'm going to go and order. If you try to say every word, your mouth will get tired. I am going to go and order. It is too much work. Native speakers are efficient. We want to get the meaning across with the least amount of effort. I'm going to go and order. Try saying that. Relax your jaw. Don't stress the small words. Just stress the important words. Gonna, go, order. And finally, the question Liam asks. What do you want to drink? This is perhaps the most famous reduction in American English. What do you want to becomes what do you wanna? It sounds crazy when I slow it down like that, doesn't it? What do you wanna? But this is exactly what you hear in movies. The T in what disappears. The do you becomes ya. Want to becomes wanna. What do you wanna drink? If you are a beginner or intermediate learner, you might be waiting for the word what. But by the time you realize the sentence started, the speaker is already finished. This is why listening practice is not just about vocabulary, it is about rhythm. What do you want to drink? So, now that we have broken down the mechanics of this scene, I want to try something challenging but fun. I am going to read the scene again, but this time I am going to act it out, as if I am really there. I am going to use the fast speeds, the reductions, the linking, and the emotion. I want you to listen, but don't panic. You know the context. You know they are at a coffee shop. You know she is late because of the rain. You know she is tired. Use that context to help you understand. Are you ready? Let's enter the fast zone. Hey, Liam, I'm so sorry I'm late. The bus was super slow today 'cause of the rain. Don't worry about it, Sophie. I just got here like 5 minutes ago. Did you manage to finish your project for work? Yeah, finally, finished it last night. I'm so dead today, though. I need a huge coffee right now. I get it. I'll go and order for you. What do you want to drink? Thanks so much. I'll have a cappuccino with extra foam, please. How did that feel? Did it feel a little bit faster? Probably. But did you understand more of it this time? I hope so. The key is that you knew what was coming. Confidence in listening comes from prediction. When you know the situation, your brain can predict the words. If you are in a coffee shop, you know people will talk about coffee, prices, milk, and seats. Your brain is already prepared. When you enter a conversation, try to anticipate what the other person might say. If you ask someone, "How are you?" predict the answer. They will say, "Good, you," or "Not bad." If you are ready for those sounds, they won't surprise you when they fly by at 100 miles per hour. Now, I want to expand our story. We are not just staying in the coffee shop. Liam and Sophie are meeting for a reason. They are planning a trip. This introduces a whole new set of vocabulary and a new set of listening challenges. Travel vocabulary is essential for the B1 level, and it is often spoken very quickly because travel involves schedules, times, and rushing around. So, let's imagine they have their coffees now. Sophie has her cappuccino with extra foam, and Liam has a black coffee. The atmosphere is a bit more relaxed, but they are excited, so they are going to speak quickly about their plans. I am going to give you the slow version of the next part of their conversation. Listen for the details. Where are they going? When are they leaving? Here is the slow, clear version. Liam takes a sip of his coffee and says, "So, Sophie, we need to book our train tickets for the weekend trip to the mountains." Sophie nods and says, "You are right. I looked at the website this morning. The tickets are cheaper if we buy them today." Liam asks, "Wonderful. What time does the train leave on Friday?" Sophie checks her phone and says, "There is one train at 5 in the afternoon and another one at 7 in the evening. I think the 5 o'clock train is better because we will arrive before dinner." Liam agrees and says, "I agree with you. Let's book the tickets for 5 o'clock. I am really looking forward to hiking and breathing fresh air." That was the clear version. Did you catch the details? They are going to the mountains. They want the 5 o'clock train on Friday. Now, let's analyze how this sounds in the real world when two friends are excited about a holiday. Speed is driven by emotion. When we are excited, we speed up. When we are thinking, we slow down. Let's look at the first sentence. We need to book our train tickets. In fast English, need to becomes need a. We need to book our train tickets. Also, listen to the word our. In slow English, it rhymes with power. Our. But in fast English, it often sounds exactly like the word are. We need to book our train tickets. If you are listening for the sound our, you might miss it. You have to be flexible with your ears. We need to book our tickets. Then Sophie says, "I looked at the website this morning." The word at is a function word. It is not a content word like website or morning. Function words usually get crushed in fast speech, so looked at becomes looked at. The T from looked jumps over to the at, and the vowel in at becomes a schwa. Looked at. I looked at the website. It happens so fast like a camera shutter clicking. I looked at the website. Then we have a very important question from Liam. What time does the train leave? This is a question you will hear anytime you travel. What time does... In fast English, the T at the end of what and the T at the start of time blend together. We don't say what time, we say what time. One T sound for two words. Wa time. And then the word does gets reduced heavily. Sometimes it just sounds like a Z sound or an S sound. What time Z the train leave? Or what time's the train leave? The grammar word does is barely there. You have to listen for the main words: time, train, leave. If you catch those three words, you understand the sentence, even if you miss the grammar words. This is a huge secret for B1 learners. You do not need to hear every preposition or auxiliary verb to understand the meaning. Focus on the nouns and the verbs. The rest is just glue holding the sentence together. Let's look at Sophie's answer about the times. There is one train at 5. In fast speech, there is almost always contracted to there's. There's one train at 5. And notice the numbers. 5 in the afternoon. When we speak fast, we link the number to the preposition. 5 in. 5 in the afternoon. And the word afternoon often gets shortened in casual speech, or said very quickly. Afternoon. Then Sophie says, I think the 5 o'clock train is better because we will arrive before dinner. The word because is very interesting in fast English. We almost never say the full word, because unless we are being formal, we usually say cause, or sometimes even just 'cause. I think it's better 'cause we'll arrive before dinner. And listen to we will. That becomes will. We'll arrive. It rhymes with hill. We'll arrive. Finally, Liam says, I am really looking forward to hiking. The phrase looking forward to is a set phrase. In fast English, the G at the end of looking is dropped. Lookin'. And forward gets shortened to forward or even foward. I'm really looking forward to hiking. The to becomes to again. I'm really looking forward to hiking. So, let's listen to this second part of the story in the fast, natural mode. Imagine the excitement in their voices. They are thinking about the mountains, the fresh air, and the break from work. So, Sophie, we need a book or train tickets for the weekend trip to the mountains. Yeah, you're right. I looked at the website this morning. The tickets are cheaper if we buy 'em today. Awesome. What time's the train leave on Friday? Well, there's one at 5 and another one at 7. I think the 5 o'clock one's better, 'cause we'll get there before dinner. Totally agree. Let's book the 5 o'clock one. I'm really looking forward to hiking and getting some fresh air. Did you notice how the energy changed? It felt more dynamic. When you listen to this kind of English, do not try to translate. I want you to visualize. When you heard book or train tickets, did you see a ticket in your mind? When you heard 5 o'clock, did you see a clock? Visualizing is much faster than translating. If you translate from English to your native language, your brain has to do 2 steps. If you visualize, it is just 1 step. English to image. This will help you keep up with the speed. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about the psychology of listening. A lot of the time, you miss what people say, not because you don't know the words, but because you are stuck on the previous word. Let's say, I speak a sentence, and you don't understand the second word. Your brain freezes. You stop listening to the rest of the sentence because you are panicking about that one word. Meanwhile, I am still talking. I am 5 words ahead of you now. By the time you figure out that one word, the conversation is over. This is the biggest mistake B1 learners make. You have to learn to let go. If you miss a word, let it go. Jump to the next one. Catch the next bus. If you stay at the bus stop crying about the bus you missed, you will miss the next 5 buses too. In the conversation we just heard, maybe you didn't hear the word cheaper. Sophie said, the tickets are cheaper if we buy them today. If you missed cheaper, but you heard tickets and buy, and today, you can guess the meaning. Why would you buy them today? Probably to save money. Your brain is smart. Trust it to fill in the gaps. Let's continue with our story. Liam and Sophie have decided on the train. Now they need to talk about what to pack. This is another great topic for vocabulary: clothes, weather, and equipment. But this time, I want to introduce a slightly different challenge. We are going to introduce an interruption. In real life, conversations are rarely perfect back-and-forth tennis matches. People get interrupted. Waiters come to the table. Phones ring. This breaks the flow and changes the speed. In our scene, a waiter is going to come to their table to deliver the drinks. This is a new character. Let's call him Mark. Mark is busy. He is working in a busy coffee shop. He speaks very fast because he has 10 other tables to serve. He is polite, but efficient. Here is the slow version of the interruption. Sophie and Liam are talking. Suddenly, Mark the waiter arrives. He says, "Excuse me, here is your cappuccino with extra foam and your black coffee. Do you need anything else right now?" Sophie looks up and says, "Oh, thank you." "No, we are fine for now." Liam says, "Thank you." Mark says, "You are welcome. Enjoy your drinks." And he walks away quickly. This seems simple, but in a fast environment, this interaction happens in about 3 seconds. Let's break down Mark's speech. He says, "Excuse me." Often, this is reduced to, "Excuse me." The E at the beginning is gone. "Excuse me." Then he says, "Here is your cappuccino." Here is becomes here's. Here's your. Sometimes, here's your sounds like here's your. Here's your cappuccino. Then he asks, "Do you need anything else?" This is a very common service industry phrase. It often comes out as one sound. Need anything else? He might drop the "do you" completely. Need anything else? Or even shorter, anything else? As a learner, you need to be ready for these short bursts of functional language. Let's weave this interruption into the story. Liam and Sophie are talking about packing, and then Mark interrupts. Remember, I told you that service interactions are often lightning fast. The waiter is busy. He is not thinking about grammar. He is thinking about efficiency. In the slow version, Mark said, "Excuse me, here is your cappuccino. Do you need anything else?" Now, let's hear how that actually sounds in the rush of the coffee shop. I want you to listen for the rhythm. It is going to be choppy and quick. Here is the fast version. The waiter slides the cups onto the table. Clink, clink. He says, "Excuse me, guys. Here's our drinks. Cappuccino, black coffee. Anything else for you right now?" Sophie looks up, surprised, and says, "Oh, thanks. We're good, thanks." Liam nods and says, "We're set. Thanks, man." Mark says, "No problem. Enjoy." And he walks away. Did you hear how short that was? "Excuse me, guys. Here's our drinks." The words "here" is your turned into one strange sound. Here's your. If you were looking for the word is, you definitely missed it. But does it matter? No. You saw him put the drinks down. You heard the word drinks. You understood the action. This is called context clues. Your eyes help your ears. Also, notice how Liam responded. He said, "We're set." This is a very common idiom in fast, casual English. It means we are ready or we have everything we need. If a waiter asks anything else, and you have everything you want, you can say, "I'm set," or "We're set." It is much more natural than saying, "No, I do not require anything else." Learning these short, natural phrases will help your listening, because when you hear "we're set," you won't be confused. You will know it just means, "No, thank you." Now that the waiter has gone, Liam and Sophie are alone again. They have their caffeine, and the energy of the conversation is going to shift. They need to talk about the details of their trip to the mountains. This is where we get into the future tense. In textbooks, you learn to say I will or I am going to. But in fast English, the future tense sounds very different. We rarely pronounce the full word will. We almost always use the contraction ul. I'll, you'll, we'll, they'll. And as we discussed, going to becomes gonna. But it gets even faster. Sometimes, the auxiliary verb disappears entirely. Instead of, are you going to bring a coat? A native speaker might just say, you gonna bring a coat? The word are is gone. Let's listen to them discuss the weather and packing. I will give you the slow, clear version first, so you can anchor the meaning in your mind. Liam blows on his hot coffee and says, So, Sophie, have you checked the weather forecast for the mountains this weekend? I heard it might be very cold. Sophie nods and takes a sip of her cappuccino. She says, Yes, I checked it on my phone. It is going to rain on Saturday, but Sunday will be sunny. We should definitely bring our waterproof jackets. Liam looks concerned. He says, That is a good idea. I think I will bring my heavy hiking boots too. Do you think we need to bring a lot of food? Or can we eat at the village? Sophie replies, I think we should pack some snacks for the hike, like nuts and fruit. But we can eat dinner at the local restaurants. I want to try the local food. Okay, that is the clean textbook version. It is polite and grammatically perfect. Now, let's ruin it. Let's make it real. In this next section, I want you to pay attention to a specific sound change that happens in American English, and often in fast British English too. It is the T sound changing into a D sound. We call this the flap T. You will hear it in words like water, letter, and better. In our story, listen for words like checked it or get hay. When a T is between two vowel sounds, it softens. Let's listen to the fast version of the packing discussion. Liam says, So, did you check the weather for the weekend? Heard it might be freezin'. Sophie says, Yeah, checked it this morning. It's gonna rain Saturday, but Sunday'll be nice. We definitely need to bring waterproof jackets. Liam says, Good call. I'll bring my hiking boots too, just in case. Hey, do we need to pack a ton of food? Or can we just eat in the village? Sophie says, We should probably bring some snacks for the hike. You know, nuts and stuff. But let's eat dinner there. I want to try the local spots. Let's analyze that. Liam asked, Did you check the weather? We already learned, did you? But look at Sophie's answer. She said, Checked it this morning. She dropped the word I. This is very common in casual speech. Instead of I checked it, just checked it. And listen to that link. Checked it. The T at the end of checked becomes the start of it. Checked it. Then she says, Sunday'll be nice. Sunday'll. That is Sunday plus will. It sounds like a new word. Sunday'll. If you are not expecting the contraction, you might think it is a specific type of Sunday. But it is just the future tense. Sunday will be nice. Then notice the phrase, good call. Liam said, good call. This is an idiomatic expression that means, that is a good idea, or you made a good decision. It is very short and very common. If you agree with someone's plan, you say, good call. It is faster than saying, I agree with your decision. Now, I want to talk about something Sophie did in that fast version. She used the phrase, you know. She said, we should probably bring some snacks, you know, nuts and stuff. This is a filler phrase. Teachers used to tell students that saying, like, and, you know, is bad English. But for listening, you need to understand that these are actually your friends. When a native speaker says you know or like, they are pressing the pause button. They are buying time to think of the next word. For you, the listener, this is a gift. It gives you a split second to catch up. If you hear, "We should bring snacks," you know. Do not try to translate, you know. It has no meaning there. It is just a signal that more information is coming. It is a breath. Treat it like a comma. Do not let it distract you. Let's move on to a slightly more complex topic. Intonation. Up until now, we have focused on how sounds connect. But English is also about music. The pitch of our voice goes up and down to show emotion. If I am happy, my pitch is higher and more varied. If I am serious or angry, my pitch might go lower and flatter. Understanding this helps you understand the speaker's attitude, even if you miss some words. In our story, a problem is about to happen. This will change the emotion. When people are stressed, they speak faster, and the pitch changes. Liam remembers something about the accommodation. He is not sure if they actually booked the hotel. He thought Sophie did it. Sophie thought Liam did it. This is the uh-oh moment. Let's listen to the slow version of this realization. Liam puts his coffee cup down slowly. He looks at Sophie and asks, "Sophie, wait a minute. Did you book the hotel room for Saturday night?" Sophie stops drinking. She looks at Liam with wide eyes. She says, "No, I did not book it. I thought you were going to book it. We talked about this last week. You said you would do it." Liam puts his hand on his forehead. He says, "Oh no, I completely forgot. I thought you said you wanted to choose the hotel because you are picky about pillows." Sophie says, "This is not good. We need to check if there are any rooms left immediately." Okay, that was the calm version. But in real life, this is a moment of panic. Panic means speed. Panic means cutting sentences short. Panic means accusing each other. Let's see how this sounds when the speed creates the emotion. Listen to the fast version. Liam freezes. "Wait, Soph, did you book the hotel for Saturday?" Sophie freezes too. "No, I didn't book it. I thought you were going to do it. We talked about this. You said you'd handle it." Liam says, "Oh my God, I totally forgot. I thought you wanted to pick the place 'cause you're picky about pillows." Sophie says, "Are you serious? We gotta check right now. Like, right now." Wow, the energy is totally different, right? Let's break down the fast speech here because there are some intense reductions happening. Sophie says, "I thought you were gonna do it." In the heat of the moment, "I thought you" often becomes "I thought cha." The T in thought blends with the Y in you to make a CH sound. I thought cha. I thought cha were gonna do it. Try saying that. I thought cha. It sounds aggressive, doesn't it? That CH sound adds a bit of punch. Then she says, "You said you'd handle it." The word you'd is the contraction of you would. It sounds just like the word you'd. You said you'd handle it. And handle it links together. Handle it. Handle it implies taking care of the responsibility. Liam defends himself by saying, "I thought you wanted to pick the place." Wanted to is another major reduction. We already learned want to becomes wanna. But in the past tense, wanted to becomes wanda. The T sounds become D sounds. I thought you wanda pick the place. Wanda. It flows so smoothly. If you try to say, "I thought you wanted to pick," you will sound like a robot in an argument. But if you say, "I thought you wanda pick," you sound like a stressed human being. And finally, Sophie says, "We gotta check right now." Gotta is the reduction of have got to or have to. It means need. We gotta. This is one of the most essential words in casual English. You will hear it in songs, movies, and every conversation. I gotta go. We gotta eat. You gotta see this. In this context, we gotta check implies urgency. Now, I want to pause the story for a second and do a little exercise with you. I want to practice this conflict speed. I am going to say 3 sentences from this argument. I want you to listen, and then I want you to try to say them out loud, matching my speed and my anger. Don't be shy. If you are on the bus or in a library, maybe whisper. But if you are alone, shout it out. Acting helps you learn. Sentence number 1. I thought you were gonna do it. Listen again. I thought you were gonna do it. Now you say it. Focus on the thought-cha and the gonna. Go. Good. Did you feel the rhythm? Dot, 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 dot. Sentence number 2. You said you'd handle it. Listen again. You said you'd handle it. Notice how said and handle are the strong words. You'd is very weak. Now you say it. Excellent. Sentence number 3. We gotta check right now. Listen again. We gotta check right now. Focus on gotta. Make it snappy. Now you say it. Great job. By imitating the speed, you are training your mouth muscles. And believe it or not, training your mouth helps your ears. If your mouth knows how to make the sound, your brain recognizes the sound faster when you hear it. Let's get back to Liam and Sophie. They are panicking. They are taking out their phones. This is a scene where they are mumbling to themselves while they type. Mumbling is a nightmare for listening practice, but it is real. When people talk to themselves, they speak very low and very fast. They are not projecting their voice to the other person. They are just vocalizing their thoughts. Here is what happens. Sophie is swiping through a travel app. Liam is searching on Google. Sophie mumbles, come on, load. Please be a room, please be a room. Ugh, sold out, sold out. Okay, what about this one? Too expensive. No way. Liam mumbles, I can't believe I forgot. I'm such an idiot. Okay, Hotel Mountain View. Let's see. Fully booked. Seriously? Listening to mumbling requires you to pick out keywords. You heard sold out. You heard expensive. You heard fully booked. Even if you didn't hear the little words in between, you know the situation is bad. They cannot find a room. This builds tension. Suddenly, Sophie finds something. The pace changes again. It goes from fast mumbling to slow, deliberate relief. She says, wait, I found one. Liam looks up instantly. Really? Where? Sophie says, it is not a hotel. It is a small cabin. It is a bit far from the village, but it is available. And it is actually cheaper. Liam breathes out a huge sigh of relief. He says, book it. Don't even think. Just book it. Let's look at the phrase, don't even think. In fast English, the T at the end of don't and the T at the start of think are key. But notice the word even. It often gets squashed. Don even think. Sometimes it sounds like don eam think. Native speakers are lazy with the V sound in even when they are rushing. Don eam think. Just book it. So, they book the cabin. The crisis is averted. They are going to the mountains. Now that the adrenaline has faded, they can relax again. This is usually when laughter happens. Nervous laughter. When people laugh and talk at the same time, the listening difficulty increases to level 10. Laughter breaks up the words. It distorts the vowels. Liam laughs and says, I can't believe we almost ruined the trip. Sophie laughs too. She says, you mean you almost ruined the trip? Liam says, okay, my bad. I owe you dinner. Let's look at my bad. This is slang. It means my mistake. It is very useful. And I owe you dinner. Listen to how owe you links. It sounds like oh ya. I owe ya dinner. The vowels slide into each other. Now, as we prepare for the next part of our story, I want to talk about something called ghost sounds, or elision. This is when sounds disappear completely. We saw a little bit of this with "excuse me," but it happens all the time with the letters T and D at the end of words. For example, look at the phrase next day. We almost never say nexty day. The T is trapped between the X and the D, so we delete it. It becomes next day. Or the phrase old car. We often say old car. The D disappears. Or sandwich. We say sandwich. The D is gone. This is important because in the next part of our story, Liam and Sophie are going to be on the train and then hiking. There will be a lot of descriptions of scenery and actions. You will hear phrases like last time, west side, and handbag, handbag. If you are trying to hear every letter that you see in the spelling, you will drive yourself crazy. You have to trust the flow. If you hear west side, your brain knows there is no word called wes. It must be west. This autocorrection is a skill you develop with practice. Let's practice a few ghost sounds right now before we move on. I will say the full phrase and then the reduced phrase. I want you to listen to the missing sound. Phrase 1, best friend. Fast version, best friend. The T is gone. Best friend. Phrase 2, stand by. Fast version, stand by. The D is gone. Stand by. Phrase 3, most people. Fast version, most people. The T is gone. Most people. These disappearances happen to make speech smoother. If I try to say best friend, I have to stop my airflow for the T. Best. Friend. It is choppy. Best friend is smooth. English speakers always choose smooth over correct. We are like water. We want to flow down the path of least resistance. So, where are we now? Liam and Sophie have successfully booked a last-minute cabin. They have finished their coffee. They are getting ready to leave the coffee shop and head home to pack. They are feeling relieved, excited, and maybe a little bit tired from the panic. As they stand up to leave, we get one more quick exchange of leaving vocabulary. Leaving a conversation has its own script. Liam says, "All right, I better get going. I have to do laundry before I pack." Sophie says, "Yeah, me too. I'll text you the train details later." Liam says, "Perfect. See ya Friday." Sophie says, "See ya. Don't forget your boots." Liam laughs, "I won't." Bye. Let's look at "I better get going." The grammar here is actually "I had better get going," but in spoken English, the had disappears completely. We just say, "I better." And get going often sounds like get going. The T in get assimilates to the G in going. Get going. I better get going. And see ya. This is the classic casual goodbye. You never say see you unless you are being formal. See ya. We have traveled a long way together already. We started in a noisy coffee shop, navigating the fast, casual chatter of meeting a friend. We survived the panic of a forgotten hotel booking, learning how stress changes the speed and pitch of English. And now, we are ready for the adventure itself. We are leaving the city. We are going to the train station, and then we are climbing a mountain. This final leg of our journey is going to test your listening skills in new environments, because the real world is not a quiet classroom with headphones. The real world has echoes, wind, background noise, and strangers with different accents. But do not worry, because we are going to break it all down, sound by sound, just like we always do. Let's imagine it is Friday afternoon. The work week is over. The station is crowded. People are rushing home or leaving for the weekend. The sound of a train station is unique. It is a mix of suitcases rolling on the floor, hundreds of footsteps, and the loud, often distorted announcements coming from the speakers above. This is a nightmare for many English learners. You stand there, looking at the departure board, waiting for a voice to tell you where to go. But the voice sounds like a robot, speaking through a thick blanket. In this scene, Liam and Sophie are running a little bit late, again. They need to find their platform quickly. This introduces us to announcement English. This is a specific style of speech. It is formal, repetitive, but often spoken very quickly or with a strange rhythm. Let's listen to the announcement first. I will read it as if I am the announcer, using that slightly robotic, echoey tone. May I have your attention, please? The 17:05 service to Mountain Creek is now approaching Platform 4. Please stand back from the edge of the platform. This train will be calling at River Valley, Green Hill, and Mountain Creek. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform. Now, let's analyze this. In a textbook, this is easy. But in a station, with the echo, it sounds different. First, look at the time. 17:05. In the US, we might say 5:05 p.m. In the UK or Europe, looking at a schedule, they often use the 24-hour clock, 17:05. You need to be ready for both numbers. Then, listen to the phrase, approaching platform 4. The word approaching is long. In a fast announcement, the middle syllable gets stressed, and the start and end disappear. It sounds like approaching. The train is approaching platform 4. If you are waiting to hear the A in approaching, you might miss the number. And the number is the most important part. This is the strategy for public announcements. Filter out the politeness. Focus on the facts. The facts are train, Mountain Creek, platform 4. Everything else, may I have your attention? Please stand back, is just decoration. You can ignore it if your brain is tired. And then, the famous phrase, mind the gap. This is iconic in London, but used in many places. Mind here means be careful of or pay attention to. The gap is the space between the train door and the station floor. But when spoken, it is a warning, so it is sharp. Mind the gap. It sounds like one aggressive word. Mind the gap. Now, let's hear Liam and Sophie reacting to this. They are stressed. Liam says, "Did you hear that? Was it platform 4 or 5? Sophie says, "I think he said 4. Look, the sign says 4. We gotta run." Liam says, "Okay, let's go. Grab your bag." Notice the verification. Liam asks, "Did you hear that?" This is a great phrase for you to use. If you are unsure, ask someone, "Did you hear that?" And Sophie uses visual confirmation. The sign says 4. Listening is not just about ears. It is about using your eyes to confirm what you think you heard. If the voice is unclear, look for the sign. They run to platform 4 and jump onto the train just as the doors are closing. Beep, 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 beep. Slam. Silence. They are on the train. They find their seats. Now the environment changes. The train is a rhythmic environment. Click-clack, click-clack. It is soothing. But now they have to interact with a new character, the conductor. This is important because up until now, Liam and Sophie have spoken with similar accents. But in the real world, you will meet people with different ways of speaking. Maybe the conductor is older, or from a different region. Maybe he speaks very formally. Let's introduce Mr. Jenkins, the conductor. He is a polite older man who speaks very fast but very properly. He does not use slang like gonna or wanna. He uses clipped English. Clipped means short and precise. Here is the slow version of the interaction. Mr. Jenkins walks down the aisle. He says, "Good evening. Tickets, please." "Thank you." "Are you traveling all the way to Mountain Creek today?" Sophie says, "Yes, we are. Here are our tickets on my phone." Mr. Jenkins looks at the phone. He says, "Thank you, madam. Just so you know, the buffet car is in coach C, if you would like any refreshments." Liam says, "Oh, that is great. Thanks for letting us know." Now, let's hear how Mr. Jenkins actually sounds. He says the same things hundreds of times a day. When you repeat things often, you speed them up and meld them together. Mr. Jenkins, "Evening. Tickets, please." He scans the phone. Mr. Jenkins, "Mountain Creek? Lovely. Buffet's in coach C if you fancy a snack." Liam, "Cheers. Thanks. Let's analyze the changes. Good evening became just evening. The G at the end is gone, and the good is gone. This is a standard casual but polite greeting. Evening." Then he asked, "Mountain Creek?" He didn't say, "Are you going to Mountain Creek?" He just said the name of the destination with a rising intonation. This is efficiency. If you nod, he knows the answer. Then he said, "Buffett's in coach C." Buffett's. That is, Buffett is. And notice the word Buffett. In English, we pronounce it buffet. It rhymes with day. We do not pronounce the T at the end because it is a French word. Buffet. And finally, he said, "If you fancy a snack." To fancy something is British English for to want something, if you fancy a snack. It sounds like "thank you snack." Liam replied with cheers. In many English-speaking countries, especially the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, cheers does not just mean a toast with drinks. It is the most common way to say thank you. It is quick, friendly, and light. Cheers. So, they are on the train, relaxing. They watch the city disappear and the green fields appear. The sun is setting. It is beautiful. This is a moment of calm. In a movie or a story, calm moments usually have slower dialogue. Sophie whispers, "I am so glad we made it." Liam whispers back, "Me too. Look at that sunset." Sophie says, "It is going to be a great weekend." When people whisper or speak softly, they tend to enunciate less. The energy is low. "I am so glad" becomes "I'm so glad." It is almost a hum. Listening to quiet English requires you to lean in. You have to focus on the vowels. Glad. Made. To. Sun. Now, let's fast forward. It is the next morning. Saturday. They are at the cabin, they have had breakfast, and now they are on the mountain. They are hiking. This introduces a physical element to speaking. Have you ever tried to talk while running or climbing stairs? You cannot speak in long, flowing paragraphs. You speak in short bursts. You breathe heavy between words. This affects the rhythm of the language completely. If you are listening to a podcast or a movie with action, you need to understand breathless English. Let's set the scene. It is steep. The wind is blowing. Whoosh! They are climbing a rocky path. Here is the slow version of what they might want to say. Liam says, "Sophie, look at this view. It is absolutely incredible. We are so high up." Sophie says, "I know. It is beautiful. But I am very tired. Can we stop for a minute? I need to drink some water. Now let's hear the reality. Add the panting. Add the effort." Liam, breath. "Look at," breath. "This view." Breath. "Incredible." Sophie, breath. "I know." Breath. "Hold on." Breath. "Need water." Breath. "Wait up." Notice the grammar has disappeared. "We are so high up" becomes just implied by the context. "Can we stop for a minute?" becomes just hold on. Hold on is a phrasal verb. It means wait. In this context, it is a command. Hold on. And Sophie says, wait up. This is similar to wait for me. Wait up. It is very common in hiking or walking situations. Also, listen to the word water. In American English, the T is a flap D, wa-der. In British English, it is a sharp T or a glottal stop, wa-ter, or wa-er. Depending on who you are listening to, that word changes shape. But in the context of hiking and sweating, if someone says need, wa, you know they want a drink. Context is king. They stop, drink water, and look at the horizon. The wind is loud. When it is windy, people shout. Shouting changes vowels. When you shout, you stretch words. Liam yells over the wind, "It's worth it!" Sophie yells back, "What?" Liam, "The climb! It's worth it!" Sophie, "Yeah, totally!" This is a great lesson. Sometimes even native speakers do not hear each other. Sophie said, "What?" She didn't understand. This is normal. If a native speaker doesn't understand, they ask. You have permission to do the same. If you are in a conversation and it is noisy, or the person is fast, just say, "What?" or "Sorry?" or "Can you say that again?" It is not a failure. It is a communication strategy. Also, Liam said, "It's worth it." This is a beautiful phrase. It means the reward is bigger than the cost. The pain of the hike is the cost. The view is the reward. It is worth it. In fast speech, worth it links perfectly. Worth it. The TH sound flows into the I sound. Worth it. They reach the top. It is peaceful. They sit on a rock and eat the snacks they packed, the nuts and fruit from part 2. This is the reward moment. The conversation becomes reflective. Reflective conversation is usually slower, deeper, and uses more past tense verbs because they are looking back at the journey. Sophie says, "I can't believe we almost didn't come." Liam says, "I know. I was so stressed about the hotel." Sophie says, "But the cabin is better, right?" Liam says, "Way better. It's quieter. Let's look at way better." The word way is used here as an intensifier. It means much. Way better means much better. Way faster. Way more expensive. It is very common in spoken English, B1/B2 level. And notice the negative contraction. We almost didn't come. Didn't. The T is usually stopped. Didnen. We almost didnen come. Now, I want to bring everything together. We have gone through the coffee shop, the panic, the train station, and the mountaintop. We have heard gonna, wanna, thoughtcha, checked it, mind the gap, and worth it. You might be thinking, "Alex, this is too much to remember." And you are right. You cannot memorize every single reduction in the English language. That is not the goal. The goal is to change how you listen. Here is the secret to staying confident with fast English. Stop trying to catch every raindrop and just get wet. What do I mean by that? When it rains, you don't try to catch every single drop of water in your hand. You just feel the rain. Language is the same. Do not try to catch every single word. Let the sentence wash over you. Feel the emotion. Is the speaker happy? Stressed? Asking a question? Pick out the big rocks, the nouns, train, mountain, coffee, and the verbs, go, stop, look. If you have the rocks, your brain will build the bridge. In our story, even if you missed the word platform or gap or buffet, you would still understand the story. Two friends met. They had a problem. They fixed it. They traveled. They climbed. They are happy. That is the core. As a B1 learner, your job is to get the core. The details will come with time. Let's do one final practice. I am going to give you a monologue from Liam. He is sitting by the fire in the cabin that evening, summarizing the trip. I will read it at full, natural speed. I want you to relax. Do not translate. Just visualize the fire, the tiredness in his muscles, and the happiness in his voice. Ready? Here we go. Man, what a day! I'm honestly so beat. My legs are killing me from that hike. but I'm glad we pushed through. It's funny, yesterday I was freaking out about the hotel, thinking everything was ruined. And now, sitting here, I can't even remember why I was so worried. This cabin is awesome. Just listening to the fire and the wind outside, it's exactly what we needed. I think we should make this a yearly thing. But next time, I'm definitely letting you book the place way in advance. How was that? Did you catch the feeling? Let's pick out a few idioms he used. I'm so beat. Beat means exhausted. Very tired. I'm beat. My legs are killing me. This doesn't mean his legs are murderers. It means they hurt very much. Freaking out. This means panicking or getting very stressed. Way in advance. This means a long time before the trip. If you understood that he is tired but happy, and he wants to come back next year, you passed the test. You successfully listened to a fast, natural English narrative. As we finish this series, I want to give you a challenge for this week. I want you to find a piece of English audio, maybe a YouTube video, a podcast, or a scene from a movie. I want you to listen to it once without subtitles. Just listen. See how much you catch. Then, listen again with subtitles and look for the reductions. Look for the gonna and the wanna and the linked sounds. See where your ears tricked you. And then, listen a third time without subtitles again. You will be amazed at how much clearer it sounds. Your brain is a muscle. We have been working it out hard in these sessions. It might feel sore, just like Liam's legs, but that means it is getting stronger. Do not be afraid of speed. Speed is just fluency in disguise. You are capable of understanding it, and one day, you will be capable of speaking it too. Thank you so much for traveling with me, Liam and Sophie, on this journey. It has been a pleasure to be your guide. If you enjoyed this story and this method of breaking down language, please let me know. I love hearing from you. Keep practicing, keep listening, and most importantly, stay confident. You are doing great. This is Alex from English in Fluency, signing off. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.